have you here, and trust me, this meeting is going to be excellent. We have lots of wonderful speakers from across the Tableau community, so a lot of knowledge will be laid out in front of you today. Just want to do just some quick housekeeping things. Bevy is a new platform for us, so be a little patient as we change between speakers and whatnot. But if you look to the bottom of your screen, you should see a button for chat. And if you want, please drop where you're from, just so you can get used to where it is. And then also there is a button for Q&A. So as we talk to our panelists or any of our sessions, if you have a question, post it there, and one of our co-hosts will answer, either answer directly in Q&A or have one of our presenters answer that question for you. Okay, so I want to first begin by introducing and letting you guys see all of our wonderful co-leaders for this tug. We've all been involved in the Tableau community for a while. If you look at our Twitter handles, we're all pretty active on Twitter. If you need to contact us, that's one of the best ways to do it. We all have currently used Tableau as part of one of our jobs, and we have a passion particularly for speaking and reaching out to other Black people and get them introduced into not only data analytics, but Tableau in general. So you can look for us on Twitter or drop us a line on LinkedIn for the both of us. Okay, so this next slide is the agenda for today's meeting. I already gave the welcoming introduction. We do have like 3 sessions for you today. First will be on a Tableau initiative involving HBCUs that will be given by Jessica Lyons. We'll be having a Black Tableau Ambassador panel and a demo of Tableau in its intersection with AI, presented by one of our co-leads, Sekou Tyler. We'll also have a general Q&A, and if anybody knows of any hiring initiatives, you can post it in our chat, and we'll bring it up during this section. And the last section will be Stay Connected, how you can reach us, how you can ask questions, and how you can join our LinkedIn group, our WhatsApp group, just so that we can all stay connected post this meeting. Okay, so our first speaker will be Jessica Lyons. I'm going to pass this off to her. Just give me a moment while I stop sharing, Jessica.
Okay. So thank you so much for allowing me to join you all today. I really appreciate it. And I'm so happy to see some of the attendees that I already know. So shout out to some of our already academic ambassadors and friends. So my name is Jessica Lyons. I am the Senior Program Manager for Tableau for Teaching. Here is my QR code. I love to connect with people. So this is my QR code to my LinkedIn. So I would love to connect and learn more about anything that you have going on, or if you want to connect back, I would love to have conversations. A little bit of my background. So I was in academia for several years. So I actually am still an adjunct professor of psychology at several universities. I'm the chair for Illinois State Board of Education, their Title I program. I worked at NWEA, which is with HMH. So that P20, working with K-12 schools for research, as well as account management and data literacy. And I was a district coordinator for analytics and data in several districts throughout Illinois, as well as a data consultant for many districts around the U.S. So that's a little of my background, a little bit about our program for our academic program. So Tableau for Teaching, which I'll actually ask Alan if he could throw the URL into the chat for everyone. But Tableau for Teaching, we have over 3 million students and instructors. We give free licenses for everything. So Tableau Prep, Tableau Desktop, Tableau Cloud. And so all of our teachers get a free license in addition to course software. So whether that's Student Bulk Keys or Tableau Cloud or Align, you can absolutely receive. We do lab licenses, pretty much anything that you can think of. We give all those resources in addition to curriculum, which includes data literacy 1, 2. We have AI. We have so many different curriculum that is also available to anyone that is educating or teaching as well. Of course, we support the projects, lunch and learns, back to Viz Basics, and then every student 16 and older can get their own license. And if they're under the age of 16, they can, we usually ask the educator to get the Tableau Cloud or Student Bulk Keys, and then students can get it. With that, they get discounts. We ask them to join different projects, and then we even have data kids. So we also have resources for kids. And so with that being said, we are building an app with that, but we're creating tools also for kids ages 5 through 13. And again, our major goal with academic programs is literally democratizing data. It's not about necessarily just Tableau, although we love Tableau. We also are product agnostic, meaning that we are more focused on the data skills and data literacy and to academia. And again, why we're here today is, as you can see, as you already know, only 4% of Blacks are in data science classes. And so that is one of my main goals of being a career transitioner. So I wanted to make an impact. That is the reason why I decided to become a senior program manager for Tableau for Teaching. And so with that, I wanted to share a wonderful initiative. So the National Data Science Alliance workshop, they came to us and they stated that, hey, with the data that I just showed, again, I even looked at data that looked at the amount of data science programs that are within HBCUs versus non-HBCU programs, and it is very minimum. It was about 5%. And so we see that there's an inequity there, in addition to we are working on democratizing the data. So with that being said, they came to us and said, hey, we would love to figure out how we can get these, get trainings or resources or upskill and reskill our educators. This was a big deal for me because I know that good education starts from the educator. They need them and also to mentor and things of that nature. So with that opportunity, I wanted to come and talk to everyone to see if anyone would be interested in helping with this. For the next 3 years, we are going to touch all 107 HBCUs. So meaning that they want to open up these workshops to get people more interested into data, to get the educators learning more about Tableau, learning more about data science in general and data skills. And I said the first people I wanted to meet with was us. And the reason for that is I would love for us to stand up, show off, and stand out. And so with that being said, what I hear quite often is when I'm asking, where are your Black and brown educators? They say that they're not applying. We don't know where they're at. We don't know what they're doing. So with that being said, I was like, let me come and showcase this today. And so what I am asking people is to give back by introducing yourself, but show off your portfolio. Let them know what your skills are. That is something that I get quite often is universities are like, I need educators. Who's out there? Who can teach a Tableau class? Who can do a training? Who could do a workshop? I would love to make those introductions. I would love for us to be the first cohort in who I'm making the introduction to. Some of that, if you are interested, there will be a sign up. So I do have most of the sessions filled out for the first phase, but it will go in 3 phases. The way it works is they gave us some dates, but they said they are open with the time. That is how gracious they are, that they said it does not matter with the time. If you find people who you believe are valuable and good experts and want to showcase their skills and teach teachers, by all means do so. So they did give us 3 different sets of dates. And like I said, for the next 3 years, they are going to be coming back to us to ask for support. What Tableau is actually going to do with that is that if you do volunteer to do the workshops, what we will do is, of course, give you a token of appreciation of swag. But also, what I would like you to know is we are doing marketing as well. So we will be creating blogs, publications, and different things of that nature. If you're the facilitator, we would love to showcase you and interview you. So that's another way to market your consultancy and your skills as well. So again, my goal is twofold. I want to get us out there, and I want more students educated in data science. And so that is what I am working on today. So thank you so much. And then I will put in the links in the chat. And I, of course, will be here to the end. And again, here is my QR code for LinkedIn. If you are interested at all, please let me know. And I cannot wait to connect and meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jessica. I'm really excited about that initiative. I definitely will post this meeting. We'll also post this in our LinkedIn group for individuals who could not join us today, so we can still spread that word for you.
Thank you.
And that can also be a place where people can ask questions that they may have had. Okay, so let me share my screen once again. Okay. Our second presentation will be a panel on some of our first-time Black Tableau ambassadors. If you are new to Tableau or not been active part of the community, ambassadors are individuals who have contributed to the Tableau community in some specific manner. Tableau has ambassadors across 5 different sectors. Forum ambassadors who are, if you're unfamiliar, Tableau has a really strong forum for Q&A. There's individuals who spend so much time answering questions on that forum, and there's ambassadors for that particular branch. There are ambassadors for user groups. We have user groups across states, across disciplines, across special interest groups, and some of those are highlighted as our Tableau user group ambassadors. We have social ambassadors. I am a social ambassador. You can find me talking about Tableau, reaching out to people to help create content, encourage, pass knowledge across all the social media platforms: Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. Social ambassadors are everywhere and are like the glue to the community. Then we have our Tableau public ambassadors, individuals who are creative, showing inspiration through creating business in Tableau. And if you go to Tableau public and follow them, you will be just amazed about the quality of the work that they're putting out. And now we have this new Tableau ambassador group, academic, which composes not just students, but also educators who are using their platform to reach out on academic levels to universities, elementary, middle, and high school students, just across all educational platforms to reach and teach about Tableau. So we are really privileged today to have 4 individuals across 4 of those different branches to answer some questions about themselves, how they got into Tableau, and how they hope to contribute to the community as an ambassador this year. Okay, Rashid, I'm going to stop sharing.
Alrighty. All right, hey guys, I'm Rashid Manat, and I have the pleasure of moderating this discussion with the, 4 Black ambassadors that we have here today. The thing that I'm most excited about is that being a Tableau ambassador is great, but these guys are also heavy hitters. Sometimes you find yourself lucky to be in front of someone that it's almost like, I don't want to limit you guys and say that the 4, panelists are just Tableau ambassadors. These are serious heavy hitters. So this is like one of these opportunities where the 4 of you are impressive in ways that are beyond Tableau Ambassador. So I want to take a second to just let you guys kind of introduce yourself. Basically, we've got Allison, we've got Chris, we've got Kayla, and we've got Alan. And Allison, I believe you're a social ambassador. Chris is a youth group ambassador. Kayla's a Tableau public ambassador, and Alan's an academic ambassador. Actually, Alice, can you stop sharing real quick? Because it might be easier if I can see them, and we can just kind of decide all right, basically, I'm going to ask, a question, and it's really for all four of you. As far as the order is concerned, let's say, Allison, you go first, then Chris, then Kayla, then Alan. So I guess in that order, just introduce yourself, tell us where you work, how many years you had with Tableau, at least thus far. Yeah.
Sure. I guess I'll get started. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Allison Wright, and you're right, Rashid. I am a social ambassador. I am a senior business intelligence analyst at JLL, and I have about 3 years experience.
Thanks. Chris, you're next.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chris Williams. I am the Chief Technical Officer of my own company, Precision Analytics Group. I'm based out of Irvine, California, currently in Portland, Oregon, because I was presenting at the tug that I run with another person, a couple other people, the Portland tug, since I used to live here. So I've been doing Tableau for about a decade, and it's really rewarding to be a part of this. Sometimes I don't really look at myself as, just something up here or special. I'm just, hey, I do Tableau just like everybody else. I've just been fortunate enough to be in a position to, assist in the user group and learn from everybody else who comes to it. So it's nice to be here with you all.
Kayla, we'll go to you next.
Hi, I'm Kayla Swain. I work as a consultant with Lovelytics, a firm based out of DC. I was first introduced to Tableau about 6 years ago in school, and so I've been working in it full time for maybe about 5 years.
Thanks. And Alan, we'll finish up with you. Alan, you're on mute.
I feel like this thing mutes itself, but anyway. So, hey everyone, I'm Alan. I am an adjunct professor at the City University of New York, where I teach data literacy. Before that, I was a data professional in the corporate world. I've been using Tableau for almost a decade. I think about either 7 or 8 years, but yeah, if I round up, almost a decade. So,
nice. Like I said, heavy hitters. All right, next question is, especially because you're all different ambassadors, what inspires you to become an ambassador? And more specifically, what inspires you to become the ambassador that you are? For those who are social, user group, public, and, Alan, in your case, academic, because, yeah, that's a brand new one. But yeah, Allison, we'll start with you.
Honestly, it's the data fam, for sure. That's how I got here. I really wouldn't be here without them if it wasn't for all of you and all the newcomers, all the old heads, so to speak, and the opportunity to pay it forward now means a lot to me.
Nice. Chris, we'll go to you next.
Yeah, when I started, it was interesting. I've been in Tableau for probably longer. I've done a couple of user groups, Tableau user groups, Alteryx user groups, but Tableau is so rewarding to be able to see what you can do immediately. You get instant gratification with your data because you're creating the visualizations that are going to help someone solve a problem that's been bugging them for a while, whether it be within the education area, whether it be state and local, or whatever vertical you're dealing with. So I just wanted to be a part of something. I wanted to be a part of being able to not just spread word, but listen to the word. Because I learn more. I've learned a lot just being a user group leader because I look and see how other people are viewing Tableau. How are they learning it? It teaches me something every time I'm doing a tug, because I don't look at it as about me. I look at it as, how can I get better? How can I be a professional? How can I help someone with their journey? They may be starting, they may be very experienced, or maybe in between. It's great to learn. I just want to keep learning from my peers. So it just inspired me to want to do that. And that's really, can't really break it down anymore. That's really how I got to it. So it's a pleasure it's really an honor. I feel like this is the best of anything I could ask for when it comes to being an ambassador of this level. So.
Kayla, we'll go to you. Sorry.
Yeah, so I am a Tableau public ambassador, and reason I wanted to do that same kind of reason as Allison is just the data fam. Like Tableau Public has been such a huge part of my like career growth, and just having a platform to like be able to create a portfolio, and then with the data fam being able to get feedback, the challenges being able to just really invest in my career growth. And so just being able to like be a champion for Tableau Public and the ability to showcase your professional skills, but also explore things that you're, passionate about that, like expand like your creativity. Like I feel like all of that's possible with Tableau Public.
Yeah, and for me, so I was a Tableau social ambassador for like three rounds. So this is the first time, fourth time around, I'm an academic ambassador. The reason I did it was after joining Twitter pre-X. Um, the data fam community was just very inclusive, and I also just wanted to give back and share information about data literacy. And so I was encouraged to become a social ambassador. And just that whole sense of community just got stronger, and just the need to like want to represent in terms of having diverse representation, and just wanting to give back. And so that's the reason that I continue to do it.
Nice. Okay, next question. What would you say, what advice would you give someone who might be new maybe to Tableau and data visualizations, or maybe they've been doing this for a while, but what advice would you give them, not just maybe specific to the tool, but maybe specific to the area that you represent? Like, what should someone who's new to Tableau know that they don't know from a Tableau social perspective, the forums, how big Tableau is on Twitter or X, or maybe from a user group perspective, someone who's never really participated in a user group, or maybe it's kind of new to them. But honestly, the Tableau Public one, Kayla, I'll let you. There's a million reasons to be on Tableau Public. And Alan, from the academic perspective, only because that, like I said, that's a brand new ambassador panel. So I'd be curious as to kind of like, what have you guys learned in your respective spaces as ambassadors that you didn't know maybe when you first started? It's like, oh, people should know about this. It's kind of like an opportunity to kind of give us, folks a reason to possibly not just join those
Mm-hmm.
areas, but maybe to one day be an ambassador in those areas.
I mean, I can go first.
Yeah.
Sorry. I would just say that, data is for everyone. That's how I'll start off. That's kind of how I always say it. Like a lot of times people feel like they can't be a part of this for whatever reason, be it their skill set or their background. So I think one thing that's important for people to know is that there's so many of us have had so many different ways that we went into data. Like a lot of people have had a data set outside of work that they wanted to kind of learn on Tableau and use Tableau Public. Some of us come from a BI or business intelligence background, so we learned, we may have learned internally in our companies and created dashboards, and we didn't do a lot of extracurricular things. But I would say, just to get it back to what you're talking about with the academic space, there are a lot of educators who want to teach their students about data and data literacy, and just not in your traditional fields like computer science. Like, a big thing or initiative that I'm working on is to help people with liberal arts and humanities backgrounds to kind of connect the dots with their career and how they can fit into the data world, because there is space for everyone. So those are some of the few things that I've learned.
Thanks. I'm gonna hold you guys to the order. You guys can just chime in.
I can go next. I definitely want to say, just to piggyback a little bit off of Alan, liberal arts degrees as a person that studied language and literature, in particular Russian, and I'm a BI analyst. Like anybody could do it. Okay, if you have the head for it and the willingness to learn. But regarding with social, I would say there's so many people that are willing to help, and it's just a welcoming community in general. So I would just say to not be afraid to ask for help and to see what's out there and to see who you could collab with and who you can connect with. Because I mean, yes, the data fam got me here, but I've made, legitimate connections and friendships from all of this.
I can chime in next and so forth. I too am a Russian major, which is wild because it never happens. Russian is actually the best language that the language I was best at when I was going through school. So I just decided to settle on that just because the discipline for learning a language, a spoken language, is similar to the discipline you would need to learn a lot of the computer languages. Tableau is no different, a lot of programming languages or so forth. What I try to do in the user groups is try to promote a safe space for people to ask any question that they want. Nobody's better than anybody else. There's no competition. We're all here to try to commiserate and understand what we're doing. And so ask any question. No question is a dumb question. Just ask, network, be who you are. Don't, feel like you have to wear a different hat or a different costume when you're at the user group. This is supposed to be fun. We get enough stress in our, 40, sometimes 50-hour a week work. Why not? Why have that? Why bring that here to a user group? They're not coming for me. That's just a lot of noise in the background, so I apologize. But I try to make sure that gets promoted. I'm just like they are. I don't want to be put on a high, pedestal. I mean, I learned just the way you learned. We all started from the same spot. And I just want to know what everybody else is doing. Maybe it gives me a new perspective on what to do. So, and if I need to teach, then I need to teach, and that's cool. But no different. I just want to make sure everybody's comfortable in the user group is what I try to promote.
Okay. And Kayla, we'll wrap up with you.
Yep. So I think just from like a Tableau public perspective is like, don't be afraid to like start where you are. Like, and this is something that, I have to tell myself all the time, right? Like there are some people on Tableau public who are like amazing designers, and it's like, you want to compare yourself, and it's like, but you really just have to kind of, be okay with being on your own journey and not comparing to other people. And then also finding, like when you're building out your portfolio, like finding things that you love and enjoy to kind of help motivate you. And then also like one of the things that I've been trying to implement is like, if I sit down to build something for my portfolio, it's like giving myself a time limit. Because if I don't, I will keep going and trying to make everything perfect. But it's like, it's okay if it's not perfect, right? Like at some point you have to publish something. And so like by giving myself like a time limit is like, all right, we have 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks we're going to publish something. And I just feel like it helps me get over the hump of like trying to have everything be right, and like allow myself, if I want to come back later and adjust something, I can. But it's like sometimes I get stuck in that cycle and then I never post something. So like I have countless number of dashboards that are not finished because they're not perfect. And it's like, that doesn't help me grow. That doesn't help me get feedback. And it kind of just keeps you stuck.
I hear you. No, it's a good point. Okay, I got one more question, but if anyone else has any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat, and I'll make sure we get, ask the ambassadors. I'm learning today. I've learned I need to learn Russian, because apparently that's how you become a rock star. But okay, last question. Again, you guys can answer this in any order. In your experience, you guys, I want to say it was 3 years, 6 years, and two of you have done a decade. So for all 4 of you, in your experience, what would you say some of the common challenges and misconceptions people have when working with Tableau or data visualization for that matter? And how do you guys individually overcome them?
Well, I could start. I guess some of the misconceptions that the data is just nicely and neatly packaged for us to just plug in and go. That's one of the biggest misconceptions. A lot of time is spent outside of the tool, which, I think that's something people should realize too, that when you're putting together your data set, that you spend a lot of time either cleaning it or, what's the word? You're grouping it, aggregating it in a way that will begin to tell the story that you want with your visualization. So that's another tip. And also, I would just recommend before you even touch a tool, just kind of sit with yourself and understand what you're looking you know to do depending on the visualization. So if you're creating a dashboard, you may want to know how you want things to sit, or if you're doing an analysis, you just want to make sure that you have your data points and you know what your end goal is. you know that was just a couple of tips that I have.
Right. Anyone else want to chime in? I'm not going to force you.
I was thinking about the fact that some people will learn Tableau just for the sake of getting a job, which I think matters, but if you're just doing it for the sake of just getting a job, I feel like you're missing out because there's so much more to it than that. It can be, a, as Kayla had said before, very a great creative outlet and a great way to just learn in other areas, not necessarily just data visualization. And I think just
Mhm.
seeing it as just a data visualization tool is a huge misconception.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off of what um, Allison said. Like, I think another misconception is that sometimes people may find it intimidating. I think what makes it easier is, if you have the luxury to be able to delve into a topic that you enjoy, it'll drive you to want to learn more. And like Allison was saying, it'll take it beyond data viz for you. It'll be a way for you to communicate or tell stories. So I think, just to add to what she was saying, that don't take it, we all have to sometimes prioritize money to get ahead in our careers. But if you have time, just also make sure that, fulfillment is in your top, at least in your top three, when it comes to like how you move forward with a career or a journey.
That's a good point. We've got a question from the audience. But Chris, go ahead. You were going to say something. Yeah.
No, I just going to add into that. Just everybody, money needs money right now, but the bigger pictures, understanding what you want to do in English before you throw it into Tableau will help you a lot. Otherwise, you're just going to be trying to learn something to do one thing, and then you know it for what, that 2 week period as you're cramming for an exam, and you're not really getting the bigger picture. You want to understand the macro concepts of how you're dashboarding, like what makes a good visualization, and then go ahead and see if you can translate that using the data. I mean, everything starts with the data, but if you understand what visualization matches with the data that you have, your dashboarding construction is going to make things a lot easier for you, at least a better start. Because I know I go through this period where I'm just like, yeah, I've got writer's block or a dashboard block, and I'm like, what the hell am I trying to do here? So I kind of have to sort of regroup, resync, outline my dashboard, and figure out what 4 questions I want to answer in the first 20 seconds when someone looks at it. And then at that point, just put something together and just publish it and see what happens, rather than just running around trying to, just code aimlessly. So that's one thing of advice, or a couple things of advice, I should say, I'll give you.
No, great points. Great points. Alicia has a really good question, and it's ironic. I know how I would answer this question, but I'm curious to hear your opinions on it. Alicia's basically saying that she's seen a lot of job postings, and a lot of them are they're looking for experience with either Tableau or Power BI. She has experience in Tableau, but she's wondering if she should diversify her skill set more diversify her skill set by focusing more on Power BI. Or should she focus more on becoming a Tableau master? Like, what would you say in that kind of scenario? Which ones have maybe more long-term benefits, or what kind of advice would you give her?
I would say ask Sekou. No, I'm joking. Well, I sort of, but no, seriously, I would say it never hurts to kind of like, I always think it's good to be a specialist in, in one tool, or at least have a certain niche to be a specialist at. But, given the industry, I would say it's not a bad thing to be familiar with both tools. But if you find yourself leaning towards one, just make sure that you are fairly skilled in that one.
Good point. Yeah, I know we want to kind of wrap this up, so I want to kind of get some time for Sekou. But I can answer that question real quickly. For those who don't know, I am a former Tableau employee. I was a lead solution engineer, and I spent 95% of my time in Tableau, and now I'm a Power BI developer. So that should tell you something. I still develop in Tableau. I still love Tableau. But to that question, I would tell you to learn as much as you can from any tool that you have the access to, because you never know. At any given point can change overnight. And I'm glad that I learned both when I did. With that, unless you guys have anything, you guys want to say anything to maybe wrap it up before we move over to Sekou?
I think one thing I would just add to that, and it's kind of a conversation that I've been having with myself too, is like kind of coming up a little bit out of the weeds of like the tools themselves, and like also spending time on like, whether it's through something like Udemy or whatever, like just I guess the business aspect of it, right? Like, so like requirements gathering and like, because stuff like that's kind of like tool agnostic. But like, I think it helps you set you apart, like in this world of where, a lot of people are learning these tools, but like, are you able to, are you good at like requirements gathering? Are you good at like documentation? Are you good at, being able to connect the dashboard to the business questions and make sure your dashboard is answering those, and that it's like, providing actionable information. Like, I think stuff like that goes a long way. Because I think if you're able to learn one tool, you can learn any of them, but just being able to have kind of like that business side of it, I think is really helpful.
Power BI.
All right.
I think what I would say as opposed to that, regardless if you use Tableau or Power BI, you still need to know the basics of how to build a dashboard. So that regardless, that's going to have to come into play. Power BI, I tend to worry about just choosing one tool over another. And the reason why is because if you point yourself one, then you're kind of, if you're doing it just to get a job, I mean, I can understand that, but at some point that's not going to just work. So, if you always know the concepts, you're never going to be in trouble. So, I just think that the same basics you're going to have to do in Power BI, you have to do in Tableau. What makes a good dashboard? And trying to understand what that is first is going to be your best bet. And then, I've done both. DAX gives me a headache. I think it's completely useless and senseless, but hey, that's just one opinion. I think a lot of that can be dealt with at the metadata layer. And I think Tableau's metadata layer is a lot stronger. So from just a systematic perspective, I just prefer using Tableau, but I know how to do both. So, it's just one of those things where you can see I'm, enjoy running a Tableau user group, not a Power BI user group. So just saying.
Okay, well, this was a great conversation, but we still have one more session to go. So I want to make sure that Sekou has enough time to give his presentation. But I do want to end with one thing. How do you become an ambassador? How we became an ambassador? We became ambassadors first by being nominated, and we are nominated from the community. We are nominated from people like us, people who are part of the community and on this call. You cannot be an ambassador if you're not nominated. So if you see someone out there making great work, please, when the call for ambassadorships come out, make sure you add those people who have helped you, nominate them. A lot of times imposter syndrome is real. People are afraid to nominate themselves. So it is our job to, bring those people up. It's important I thought it was very important. I was inspired by a former Black visionary, and I saw her and I was like, oh, I'm going to get out here and start posting things. And that is how I started posting about Tableau and posting my work. So seeing us begets more of us here. So you see us when it's time for nomination, nominate the people who help you. And two, don't be afraid to toot your own horn. If you're out here answering questions on forums, making content, making things in Tableau public, don't be afraid to, nominate yourself. You never know who is seeing you and who is supporting you. After the nominations are done, Tableau does their work and they get together and they pick people, but they can only pick people who have put themselves there. So do not, limit yourself by not putting yourself out there. So just want to say that as we round out this conversation. I just want to thank everybody who was on this panel. I know a lot of us are on social media, or we're ambassadors because we're here to ambassadors. So reach out to us. We are all glad to help you. We've all been where you are. And, some of you might be in places where we want to be. So connections are always helpful. Okay, so our last session is going to be given by Sekou Tyler. He is going to be talking about the intersection of Tableau and AI. AI has been dominating data spaces for at least the last year. So this is a very timely and important topic. So Sekou?
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for that intro. And I'm going to answer that question that y'all just talked about, because if you don't know, I co-lead the National Tableau User Group and the Power BI National User Group as well. So I'm in both worlds. I pride myself on being a hybrid. The biggest answer to that, like Chris said, is understand concepts. I think everybody hit the nail on the head. Understand the concepts of what you're trying to do. And then if you understand the concepts, regardless of the tool, you can come in and add value. My perspective is I just want a job. I don't really care what it is. I love Tableau. I love the community. I love everybody. But I got wife, daughter. I think I see them up there. Family in that corner. I just got to provide for them. So ultimately, that's always been my motivation, depending on what it is. But 5-10 years, there's no telling what BI tool could be number one. Hopefully it's still Tableau. But if it isn't, if you understand the concepts, you can easily migrate to another tool and provide value with whatever organization is using. So that's my quick answer on that. But I didn't come to hear me ramble about that. Y'all are here to hear me talk about Tableau and AI. So let's go ahead and hop into it. I am excited to kind of talk about this. And this is my version of it, of using Tableau and AI. This is basically what I've come up with. And all right, so title: Harnessing AI to Boost Productivity, a guide for Tableau data analysts. Sekou Tyler, earlier at SQL Sekou. Follow me on all platforms with that hashtag, with that username, I should say. All right, agenda for this particular session: intro to AI, how AI increases productivity, go over a case study, insights, general AI productivity, use cases, Q&A session, conclusion, and actually having a demo in here as well. I forgot that bullet point, but you'll see me actually demo this stuff. You won't just see me just do slides heavy. So just quick intro to what artificial intelligence is. AI is simulation of human intelligence in machines. By leveraging AI, businesses can streamline operations, improve decision-making, and drive innovation. And there's a bunch of different technologies. You have Tableau, Ask Data, Salesforce, Einstein, ChatGPT, and etc. There's a lot of stuff out there. If you Google AI, if you just understand what's going on, AI is the buzzword. Any type of conference is going to be AI sessions, AI. But it's not new. It's actually been around for a while. ChatGPT is just one of these products that was created on a large language model that basically revved up, and now there's just a lot of information and a lot of money and finances and productivity going around it. So here's how AI increases productivity. Generate AI can automate repetitive tasks. Tableau Ask Data allows users to utilize natural language. Salesforce Einstein provides AI-powered insights. If you're not familiar with Einstein, it is Salesforce kind of predictive modeling, AI, insights engine. Same thing for Ask Data is there. And I'll show you what Ask Data is actually. And you have ChatGPT, which is basically your prompt code. So you can give it different prompts. It will give you an output. So depending on what your prompts that you give it, it can feed you back information depending on what you're typing out. And then you have generative AI. So some of the challenges: manual creation of content is time consuming. Again, generative AI is all about increasing the time that you have. So how can you basically automate some of these tasks, generate high quality content, and enhance creativity and innovation in content generation? So again, there's a problem. We don't have a lot of time. We don't have a lot of brain power. How can we automate some of this stuff? That's where generative AI tries to bridge that gap. We have an introduction to Tableau Ask Data. So Tableau Ask Data, again, is a natural language processing feature. It works by using advanced algorithms and machine learning techniques to understand the context. And basically, you type in a question, it spits back out a visualization or a dashboard or whatever. And again, the goals that everybody says is increase productivity, accessibility, and provides instant feedback. And case study is: I'm a business challenge. I'm a large e-commerce company, was struggling to analyze data. It was time consuming. Again, it took a lot of technical expertise. Maybe I couldn't hire this person who knew Tableau, and I just wanted to go straight to Ask Data. And I typed in this pretty fantastic question, and I was able to come back and like, wow, my visualizations were great and everything's amazing. And now I no longer need a Tableau analyst. So that's a solution for using Tableau Ask Data. Same thing for Salesforce Einstein, similar concept. The challenge, Tech Solutions was facing challenges. They used Einstein. Everything was great. It was amazing. It was fantastic. Everything solved everybody's problem, so on and so forth. Okay, so I blazed through that on purpose because AI generated those slides for me. I didn't generate those slides. I just typed in what I wanted to consume, and then I presented it. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that with AI in general can be produced that, as let's say Ask Data, for example, while it's a great product, it's a great tool, there are different components where you actually need to understand your data. And saying that a data analyst is no longer needed to write complex, it's kind of like not true, right? There's still an element where you need to understand your data. You need to understand that. So I went through this pretty fast because I want to talk about AI and the benefits of it and some of the things to really, really watch out for. From my perspective, what I see is that it really can increase your time productivity, and you really can do things a lot faster if you kind of have a goal in mind for what you're doing. If you are coming in, you're a brand new data analyst, you're a brand new SQL analyst, you're a brand new Python analyst, and you just type in a particular question that you want without any formal context or understanding of what it is that you're looking for, it can generate a lot of stuff for you. You can test it out. But from a core understanding standpoint, it might not be the best product or output for you. Where it can really, really increase some of your productivity and efficiencies, and I'll do this in a demo, is where if you understand exactly what it is that you're looking for, like if you understand some of the basics. So let's say, example, I'm starting to learn Python, and I understand what a data frame is. I might not know how to create it from scratch. Being able to use AI can help build out that code for you as you're learning to kind of help speed up that learning curve as you understand the best practices and kind of understand what it is that you're going for. So all that to say, quick demo of what everything is. This is Ask Data. So if you're not familiar with Ask Data, this is Tableau's product that they've had out for a while. But kind of a FYI here, as of February 2024, it will be retired and will be replaced with Tableau GPT and Tableau Pulse. But Ask Data is basically this, where if you're using Tableau Online or Tableau Server, you can come in here and ask a question to your data, and it will generate an actual visualization for you. So you can simply come in here and be like, what are my counts of category by sum of profit? And let's say it will generate a visualization for you. So this is on Tableau's website if you want to go out here and see exactly what it is. What be mindful of if you use this is that it's going to look at the data that you have. So as Alan mentioned earlier, understanding the aggregation and the type of data and what your data is key, because if your data is dirty, if it's duplicates, if it's gross, if it's joined improperly, you go in here, you type a question, it comes back, it's going to generate something, and you're going to present this potentially to a CEO. CEO is going to present this at a board meeting, and they're going to be like, oh, this is great. 3 months down the line, they come back and be like, wait a minute, that's not right. And then everything's like blown up. So be mindful of the stuff, understand kind of what your data is, what you're doing, what you have in here, and use this as a tool like everything else. So the new thing that's going to come out, it will be Tableau Pulse and Tableau GPT. And basically a similar concept where it is generative AI, and it will be a component where it can look into your insights. Again, understanding what your data is, what it looks like, and what this will do now. From my viewpoint, this is my interpretation. Go to the blog site, read what it's saying. But from my particular viewpoint is that it will say, kind of do some storytelling and kind of call outs and say, hey, we saw this unusual spike, or this quarter, we saw you had a drop here, or et cetera, right? It'll do some automated insights for you based on the information that it has. And it'll provide like a news feed, quotation marks, so that if, let's say, an executive wants to see their information really quick, what's happening in their particular area, they can have this in like a newsfeed style, so they can quickly see those insights, take those insights, and then go to the meeting and then generate that information and can consume it and, you know, present it that way. But again, as you talked about, got to understand what your data is, got to understand what's going on behind the scenes, and there should be a pulse of validation. You can't just take some of this stuff for face value, but it does add like relevant stuff into a workflow. So again, with Tableau, Slack, Salesforce, the integration between everything, there was some pretty cool things to where some of these insights will go instantly into Slack. So you can see that stuff really quick so people can make faster decisions, faster, quicker, you know, more performant, so on and so forth. So this is supposed to come out this year or next year. I don't know. I know it's a big priority for Tableau. Don't know exactly when it will come out. Don't know the license structure. Have no clue. But it was announced at conference earlier this year. So I'm pretty sure if you're thinking about doing content for Tableau conference at all for next year, AI probably be like a bunch of things on there. So yeah, if you think of ideas, something AI generated, I would assume sometime next year, potentially this will be, you know, kind of baked out and tested. But again, all assumptions. It's Sekou Tyler. It's not Tableau talking. So I have no clue. I have no validation. So if someone comes back like, hey, Sekou, this is coming out next year, I'm on record saying I have no clue. I'm just guessing. But this is the product that is out there, and, you know, definitely read up on it, understand what's going on when it comes to Tableau. So this is Tableau specific stuff, their products. I want to make sure that we highlight those things first. Now, let me talk about how I've used ChatGPT and other AI tools. I showed you the PowerPoint slides that I literally created like 10 minutes. I just typed in some stuff and it just generates some stuff out, and how it was received. Now this is ChatGPT. So basically what I've done, and if you're not familiar with ChatGPT, is a prompt, a AI tool where you can type in a question and it will generate a response. So I typed in this example, explain the Tableau Superstore data set to me. So what it did is it actually generated information based on the question that I gave it. So in this example, it gave me all the different columns that are available and actually identified the different columns. And then it said that some versions have a people table. And then it gave me like, it has quantitative, categorical, so on and so forth. So what I want to end up doing now is just what I've done in the past is I've actually created a sample data set using different things. So I wanted to see if I could iterate on this particular question. So in this example, I said, can you create a sample data set that uses Tableau Superstore? So in this example, I didn't like what it did. It just gave me a long-winded answer. I didn't want that. And I actually wanted to convert this to CSV. So let's see if I come in here. Oh gosh, now it's doing stuff that I don't want. But it made a Python script. At one point, it actually created a CSV for me, and I was able to copy and paste what sample store was. But let's say example, if we were using Python, it created this Python script for me. I can take this Python and put it into my output, and then I'd be able to leverage that, so on and so forth. So again, with the prompts, you got to make sure you are asking the right prompts and giving the right information that you want. And you have that. So another example is if we're looking at this piece, what I would say, looking at Tableau Store, can you explain what a level of detail calculation is? So again, prompt engineering, typed it in. And so if I'm coming in here, of course, you can easily go to Tableau website, go to the workbook and so on and so forth, or you can type it in and it will give you what three primary LODs are. So this one example is saying exclude. So I had a data set that I was using. I could say, hey, generate a LOD calculation for me using a data set that I created. So I want to do something on Titans or whatever it was, like I can tell it to do an LOD. But again, you want to test it out, make sure that it's doing exactly what you want to do. Or if you're looking for additional context that might not necessarily be readily available, you can use ChatGPT for it. So another example, what I've done was to use Tableau Prep. Well, actually, let me do some more create sample data. Another thing that I've definitely have done is to actually generate sample data that I might not necessarily want to go to Wikipedia or go to NFL.com or go to any other areas to create. So a question that I've asked before was create a data set for so in this example, right, I can generate this, type this question in, and I can say convert to CSV. And for whatever reason, is doing this Panthers thing. That's not what I want. But it would typically convert it to a CSV file. I have no idea why it's doing pandas and Python. But it would generate this, so I can then copy and paste it, put it into Excel file, and then poof. Basically, this is the data that I have, and then now I can start visualizing it. So the level of effort to get sample data sets. So as we talked about, getting a portfolio or getting things that you want to work on, that 2-hour limit that Kayla talked about earlier. This potentially, depending on what it is that you're trying to build out, understand the components of it, can help speed up that data consumption and the aggregation and get into clean format a little bit faster than if you had to go copy and paste Python script, whatever it is, right? However you go and capture your data, this could help speed that up. So I've definitely used ChatGPT to help build that out for me. So now let me show you how I've used this to actually build out a Python script with Tableau Prep. So we look at this Visual Studio code that I have. You would think that I built this from scratch. I didn't build it from scratch. I leveraged ChatGPT. But basically what I needed to do was I wanted to look up Drake because Drake is the greatest artist of our timeline. He's a fantastic artist. But I want to look at all his albums and everything that he has built out. And I really want to, see if I can use Tableau Prep. One, I think someone mentioned this earlier. When it comes to personal projects, I picked Python just because for me, the hardest part has always been trying to connect to an API and actually generate the data. And then once I have it in a format that I want, I know visualization, I know storytelling, I know dashboard, and the hardest part has always been actually getting the data itself. So I picked Python so that I can actually get the information in a way that I want. So as a personal goal, it's like, how can I go back further upstream to get more of the data engineering without relying on a data engineer? How can I understand what APIs are, calls, so on and so forth? So with this example with ChatGPT, basically I give the prompts, I got everything built out, I have the code tested. And now if I go into actual Tableau Prep, what I learned is that as I was going through it, that you have to have an actual CSV or some type of source column with the columns that you need. So in this example, I have just the album name, release dates, total tracks, available markets, and then I have one row. Theoretically, I probably could have done this without the one row in here, but I have one row worth of data. So we're going to Tableau Prep. We see I just have the CSV album in here. And if you're unfamiliar with Tableau Prep, there is a script component to it where you can run R or where you can run Python. So in this example, like I said, I'm trying to understand how to connect to APIs, and I wanted to leverage Python for that. So this isn't going to run because I probably don't have it turned on. So if I go to my command line and I do tab pi, which is Tableau's version of Python, you can install it locally. I'm using the local version. So now I have it turned on. So now the script that I showed you all in Visual Studio, understanding what I needed, there are different prompts that I need to get it working. One major prompt for Tableau Prep to work is that everything needs to be in one particular function. So as a Python, rookie, I didn't know what that meant. So I went to ChatGPT and I was like, hey, here's the information that I want. Make sure you generate it into, well, can you put this into one function? And so when I go to Tableau Prep and I have my settings, and when I run in my script is going to look for that get albums name because you have to have that function in here. So by using the generative AI and understanding the prompts that I'm looking for, I was able to understand that I needed to put everything, all the code that I needed for what I needed, and it was automatically able to automatically generate that for me. So now when we come in here, we see when my original function was just one row, now I actually have all the albums on here. So we see, and it just ran. If we go and actually look at our tab pi, we see the command, and we see that it just ran. And then now I have all the data that I need. And then now I can use Tableau's functionality to actually, well, Tableau prep functionality to actually start doing things that I want to do. So now if I wanted to, I could clean it up. Like I could split out the columns. I could do all the different pivoting and functions and everything I want to do, right? I can do filtering out quickly. Like if I just want to keep, the titles, I can do that, right? Now I have the UI, UX feel of it. But now the hardest part was just make sure that I got the data. So for me, the learning curve from trying to create this, which I tried to do probably like 2 or 3 years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago, trying to understand Python took me a really long time because I just didn't understand Python. I didn't really know to go to. Some people might have like 20, 30 minutes to actually start building out stuff or help me, and I'm still lost. Whereas I was able to come up with an idea, go to ChatGPT, leverage those resources, and kind of build this stuff out now on the fly. So now I have a starting point for a particular project that I can now leverage and do some stuff with. So that was a way for me to pick up AI and use it in a way that I needed it. And I can easily go out here and validate it. It's a small sample size. Everything is really great. And, everything's good there. Another thing when it comes to generative AI is Figma. So we understand Figma is a really big tool in the Tableau community. It creates wireframes, then you use the wireframes, put in your backgrounds, do your visualization, so on and so forth. So I just saw this as I was preparing for this. I haven't personally tried it out. Looks pretty cool. So we're gonna try it out on the fly and see what this looks like. Actually, I tried it out once. So we're gonna do this again. So if you go into Figma, basically it is an AI GPT wireframe generation. And what it does is that you can type in an idea in here and it will automatically try and generate a wireframe for you. So in this example, this is saying create a simple fitness app tracker app that helps users track their fitness goals, including calorie counting, exercise counting, and progress monitoring. There's example 2 that says you can create a meditation website. There's example 3, learn language app. I'm pretty sure you can probably type in specific things. I'm probably guessing you probably give it dimensions and that you want. So, create this and have the dimensions by 1920 by whatever you want, so on and so forth. But whatever it is, right? Again, if you understand the prompts that you're trying to build out, you come in here and it will actually generate something for you. So come in here, hit generate based on what was typed in here. And then it's starting to do its thing. Another thing while I was doing that of note, anything AI related, you're probably going to have to connect it to some type of app or permissioning. So be mindful of what you're giving permissions to, especially if it's something at the corporate level. Everything typically probably needs read, write access. So if you are giving it access to specific things, just be mindful of that. Make sure you are not putting yourself in jeopardy by doing these things. Another thing too, as well, right, is the starting point to get you there, but don't make it your basis to where it's the only thing that you're relying on. Make sure that you're keeping your creativity and you're not just relying on AI. So as it generated, we see that it created this navigation and gave this host bill, so on and so forth. And then it created this quick wireframe based on what we typed in. So the calorie tracker, exercise tracker, progress tracker, settings, so on and so forth. So we go to copy to Figma. We should see theoretically this is now available. So now we have the bar charts, and then we can do everything that we're used to doing in here. So if we want to color it, we change the font, we can do all that stuff that we're used to do. So again, speed to consumption helped speed that up a little bit faster. It gave us the different line charts and graphs that we needed, and we can edit it and does all the grouping and stuff for us as well. So just another way that AI can speed up some of our development process from ideation to actual dashboard development. And then last one that I saw, actually haven't done anything with it, but if you want to go out there, you can check it out. There's one more before this. This is one that I saw on LinkedIn, and I don't know the guy personally, but he created a type of visualization Tableau workbook that does something. He created some type of extension for it, but I haven't tested it out, but it's some type of extension. So all I say, there's extensions that are being created out here that people are doing a lot of stuff with. Just to show you what it looks like in real time, I did download the workbook, and the extension is called Relationship Advisor for Tableau. You can come in here and select to your worksheet. But just as I talked about earlier, the data that you're connecting to, make sure whatever read-write access you're giving these permissions to, make sure you're not putting yourself at risk or in jeopardy for anything. And then you select it. And then from here, there's kind of that call out piece where we tried to talk about earlier, kind of generating that story for you and leveraging and doing that storytelling piece. Again, the whole purpose of calling this out is just that a lot of people are developing a lot of cool stuff out there. So keep your eye on it, but also be mindful of it and make sure that you know that it is not always fact. There is some fiction in there. So if you're leveraging it, just make sure that you're really mindful of how you're using it and what you're going to do with it. And then, like I mentioned, the last one was just a chat, something, I don't know. I don't remember it, but it was like a chat bot. I don't know. I'll send it out if it's valuable, but that's just something cool that I saw. So with that, best practices that I saw online, I actually did create this slide. I did copy and paste this. Y'all be proud of me. But in this particular one, this is just best practices. So what I saw is clearly label all generative AI content for users and consumers. Definitely want to make sure that you're saying that, hey, this came from AI, this came from generative AI, depending on what it is. The accuracy of the generated content, I'm going to put this in bold actually, and make sure that it's huge so y'all can see it. That's probably the most important thing. Vet the accuracy of the generated content using the primary sources where applicable. Consider how much bias is woven into generated AI results. That probably is another topic within itself. There is bias in everything. We're familiar with it. We work with a lot of different tools. So there's bias in all types of code. There's bias in machine learning. There's bias in AI. There's bias in all types of things. So understand, the results that you're getting depending on what type of prompts you're given, and just be mindful of that. And then double check the quality of the code, as I mentioned earlier, with Python, SQL, even Tableau results, calculations, so on and so forth. And just make sure that is giving you quality results, but then is actually trying to do best practice as much as possible. And you learn that as you evolve more in your craft. So yeah, so I got that is Tableau AI. That's how I've leveraged it. And I don't know if there's any questions. Are there any questions?
Yeah, there was a few actually.
Okay.
Clarence wanted to know, why did you choose to learn Python before you chose to learn R?
All right.
Like, was there a reason? Yeah.
Yeah, so my personal reason was I wanted to connect to the API, and because I wanted to generate data. So my first lesson was I wanted to do a dashboard on Kobe Bryant stats, and there was like an NBA API that I wanted to connect to, and the people that I knew at the time we was working with knew Python. So for me, the resources that I had, they were able to point me in the direction of here's how you get started in Python. So that's why I started there. A little bit of R, haven't done a lot with it, but for me, as my trajectory, as I've started more on the front end side, I've tried to go back further upstream so that I can generate and get the data that I need myself versus kind of waiting on somebody. So that's where that started.
Thanks. And Kayla just wanted to know if you had any suggestions on, any best ways to stay on top of like new AI tools or any newsletters or anything like that that you follow.
No, I don't. There's so much stuff on LinkedIn. I don't know. I think if you create something on it, like you'll see yourself starting to research different things out here. The reason I want to do this one, just because it forced me to read what's going on, because AI is everywhere. Like you can't even go talk to your grandma without being like, what's AI? Like there's just so much AI stuff that it can be consuming to understand what's going on. So it's one of those things, it's like, I think be a little bit specific about what you're going to leverage it for. And then you kind of read more content around that, because it is a buzzword, kind of like other buzzwords in the industry that we have: big data, AI, data lake, all these different terms, but there's so much stuff that involves it. So I would say, just understand what you want to use it for and then read up on it that way.
Nice. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions for Sekou, feel free to put them, in the QA or the chat. And I just want to take a second to just acknowledge, mental health is serious. Like, there are people out there who struggle with this every day, people who think that Drake is like the best artist of all time.
I mean, he's fantastic.
So, talk to your friends and your loved ones. Like, cause that's the kind of stuff that, we got to protect these people. They're dangerous, so just want to put that disclaimer out there. We love you, but it's dangerous, you know.
He's good, man.
I'll let you just kind of, you know, you go to Toronto. Maybe they'll love you up there, man.
I'm in the 6. I'm done. But but yes, this is AI. This is my take on it. Like I mentioned earlier in there, if you're thinking about creating content or trying to get into conferences or do any of that stuff, having AI in your title, having some form of it, and even just content aside, job production aside, like if you're trying to, AI is not going anywhere at all. So I definitely highly recommend taking, there's a free Google course out there. There's some other courses out there. I definitely highly recommend taking like, you know, these 10, 15-minute courses to understand what a large language model is, prompt engineering, all that stuff, and just understand the terminology, because as a data analyst and then as, you know, developer, like we get the terminology, then we can be a step ahead when it comes to our craft. And I think that's just something that we should always strive to be. So definitely just understand the buzzwords and stuff. And I think that will make us a lot stronger.
All right. Thank you, Sekou, for that presentation. There's going to be I have a couple things that we're going to do to close out. But first, I do want to bring attention to a couple of Tableau initiatives really quickly. Let me share my screen. Okay, do people see a Tableau plus movies? I can't see anybody, so if I can hear you.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
All right,
Yes,
great.
sorry. Yes.
All right, so my job as a social ambassador to promote Tableau initiatives. So this is a great opportunity if you are learning Tableau and you're looking for a robust data set. This is an opportunity to like practice your skills, hone your skills, and add something to your portfolio. Tableau has partnered with IMDb with a really great data set about movies. We all love movies. There's tons of stories within that data. And what Tableau has done is that they have created a toolkit around this data set with like a beginner dashboard and with videos that walk you through how the dashboard was created. And at the end of that, you can, you know, create something on your own. And one of the best things about this initiative is that if you publish this to Tableau Public, you get a piece of swag, a free t-shirt. So we all like swag. We always like, you know, opportunities to practice. So this is a really good opportunity to get some practice in and add to your portfolio. And the second thing that I want to highlight is this YouTube channel. This channel has well, not all, but a lot of Tableau user group presentations. A lot of them get uploaded here. As Chris can tell you, there are tons of Tableau tugs for lots of different niche groups. And if we can't attend them all, so you can join this YouTube channel and go back for, there's Austin, there's Florida, K through 12, Data Plus Women. There's like so many Tableau tugs who are record and add their talks here. Our talk will also be here. So if you want to direct anybody to a recording of our talk, it will also be here. And you could also, you know, pick up and join someone else's, see somebody else's presentation. There's so much information, help in these presentations. I lived on these presentations when I was learning Tableau. Lots of great demos, lots of great insight. Definitely bookmark it. Okay, so I do want to spend some time and open up the floor for any Q&A, and if anybody has any information about hiring information, if there's something at your company and they're having their hiring initiatives here, there's a place to put it in the chat. And also, you can also put this in our LinkedIn. So if there's anything if there's anything you want to highlight in the chat, just drop in the chat. Okay, I can't see the Q&A right now since I'm showing my full screen. So is there anything there?
Nothing yet.
No, it's nothing yet.
All right.
So before we move on, I'll do a tip that has been kind of helpful for me recently. So if you go on LinkedIn and if you search Tableau or whatever it is you're looking for, whether it's Tableau, Power BI, data analyst, whatever, and then the hashtag hiring, I've been able to like scrape a lot of different like job postings that way. And it's a manual effort, but I recommend it for anyone when the job seeking or looking to look for what it is and the hashtag hiring, and you'll see a lot of information out there. So I want to throw that one out there.
And all right, this is our final screen. We definitely want to leave you guys with an opportunity to connect with us. So if you just hold up your phone to the QR code, you can connect to us on Bevy, which is this platform that we're on now, so that you can formally join our group or join any of the other tugs, and to stay in contact and get notifications about when they will be holding sessions. We do have a LinkedIn group and a WhatsApp group. And then we also have a community page. So there's multiple ways that you can reach out to us, keep in contact, and ask us questions. Okay, if there is anything else anybody wants to, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, Alicia, we asked Sekou specifically, but I mean it's a good question for anybody. If there's anybody on the call who has any suggestions on best ways to stay on top of any new AI tools or newsletters or anything like that they would suggest to follow, by all means, come off mute and yeah, let us know. Because I don't have any either. I'm not sure if anyone else does. Not with respect to AI. Go ahead, Chris.
I mean, I can talk a little bit about something if you want. The one thing I would just say is just don't be afraid of anything new. What I would do is try to incorporate it into a use case or two that you experience with your work, and then play with your data. I mean, if anything, it's not something that's going to put you out of a job. It's going to help you. So I would challenge you just to find something that's going to help you. AI is something that will assist you, not prevent you from doing something. So don't be afraid to go in and tangle with it and play with it and see how it'll work with your situation. Because more often than not, especially when AI is concerned, it's going to make things a heck of a lot easier than it is now. So just take the challenge and see what that means for you. That's the only advice I would do.
Yeah, to piggyback off Chris, I would say, I guess the way I would describe this is that, especially from the BI space, every BI tool is knee deep in this. So its parent company will probably be doing it. So when you think of Tableau, Salesforce has already got an ecosystem around AI. You think of Power BI, Microsoft and Fabric have an ecosystem around AI. So as you start to look into specific BI tools, I promise you that company or their parent company probably has some kind of offering in the space around AI. You can kind of reverse engineer it and work backwards. So if it's a tool that you use today, kind of work your way up and see what else they offer as far as that company or the parent company offers. And then maybe, it makes sense to learn about the AI capabilities within that company and kind of where they're going. Because there really is no specific tool I would tell you to learn. It's more about learning kind of the technology and kind of like the why and the kind of the practice more so than the specific tool itself. Yeah.
All right, if we don't have anything else, just want to say thank you all for joining us. We're trying to hold these pretty regularly. with the holidays coming up, we'll likely not have another session until after the new year, but please use the QR codes here to keep in contact so we can let you know when the next time we will be meeting. If you have any suggestions about sessions that you would like to hear, do you want to see more hands-on in Tableau? Is there a specific topic you want to hear, or even people you want to hear speak to us? Please let us know. We're always looking for ideas, and we're here to serve you. So if you have ideas, please let us know. And does anybody want to have anything else before we close out? All right, everyone. It was nice seeing you guys here. Hope to see you again